Hey, we're back. Hey, guys.
Hey,
Yeah, don't flip them off.
I was just teasing.
All right. Well, don't. Well, the wrestler. I don't know how to transition into one of the saddest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit. That movie's incredibly sad.
Good stuff.
What I like about it is nobody grows
Nope.
as a person. That's what I like. It's like everyone, in the end, you don't expect that from a good movie, where everyone keeps making the same decisions that led them to where they are. But everyone, from him to his daughter to Marissa Tomei, she leaves at the end.
Yeah, she does.
She leaves. That was one of the most heartbreaking shots of the entire movie, where he's about to do the last ram jam, which I didn't realize was a move. I thought people were just rhyming ram with stuff.
You're a ram jam.
Yeah, ram jam. That's the finishing move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he gets on top of the corner.
Yeah.
He stands up and he looks to see where Marissa Tomei was, and she was gone. And I was like, oh man, that's so sad. That's so sad. That was my favorite shot in the entire movie.
Well, she didn't want to watch him kill himself.
Yeah, but still, you know what I mean? Like even in his proudest moment, no one. It's just him alone.
Yeah.
He's just alone the entire goddamn movie. You nailed that.
Yeah.
Just that overhead shot of him getting into his van
After a heart attack.
by himself. Just the only noise are the pigeons around. Yeah. Just him playing video games with the kid. Just like trying to just talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Shit was rough, man. Shit was rough. Shit was rough. Especially like as an artist, you're like, oh my God, this is what happens when it doesn't go well, or
When it does go well. It went well.
It went well, and you're just addicted to that feeling.
Yeah.
Because that's all, he was addicted to it.
Yeah. And he loved his job. He loved what he did, bro.
Yeah.
You know, to the point of death.
Yeah, to the point of where it killed him.
Yeah.
Because he I mean, we both, I think everyone kind of accepted that he dies in that ring.
Oh yeah, he has a heart attack. I mean, he was having a heart attack as the match was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, he was doing some insane shit.
Yeah. Do that flip off the ropes during a heart attack.
Yeah, in the middle of a heart attack. That's true. He like grabs his neck, but he grabs the other dude's neck, Bob's neck.
Ayatollah.
Yeah, that's also very funny. That the Ayatollah was just some black dude named Bob.
I don't think he was black.
He was definitely black.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. You sound very sure. I don't think so.
Very sure he was black.
Okay.
Yeah. That just seems very 80s to have a black dude play the Ayatollah.
I don't think he was black, but okay.
I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
I'm
You're saying it so confidently.
I'm pretty certain.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know any Middle Eastern people named Bob.
I just don't think he was black, but okay.
All right, so he's a black dude. What else? Oh yeah. I don't know if you mentioned it, but Marissa Tomei's tits are out the entire time. Like the entire time.
I mentioned that her tits are out. I do not mention that her tits are out the whole movie.
Like the whole goddamn movie. Her tits are out. And she's amazingly hot.
Fuck yeah, she's hot.
It's like, holy shit. Because she's like 40 plus in this movie.
She's so old in this movie. And they play that. I like that they don't make it like, they play that what she is.
Yeah, like the young guys don't want her. She's clearly making less money than the younger girls.
She's a hot older woman. It is what it is. That's the reality of what happens when you're hot. Like it was very, God, it was real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, oh God, this could happen to me. That's how it felt. It's like, oh my God, this could happen to me. If you're just
you could be a 40-year-old stripper.
Yeah, oh, not the Marissa Tomei part, just the whole movie. Just like, because if you're like addicted to that feeling of like the end of the crowd chanting your name.
Yeah, whether it's the garden or 100 people.
Even when it's over. I mean, even in the deli, he heard the crowd chanting his name.
Yeah, ooh.
It's over. Once you're that addicted, it's over.
Yeah, that's like a heroin level addiction.
Yeah.
When you're hearing
that's a drug, man. You ignored your daughter for years.
You told yourself she didn't exist.
Yeah. Just to play out for 100 people, maybe?
Just to fucking do a leg drop on somebody.
Yeah, to do these leg drops on these amateur wrestlers.
Yeah. You said your daughter was a real person.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like, hopefully, I would have, like, watching that, I was like, man, hopefully I have enough wherewithal to be like, not let like stand-up take over my life.
Not let it consume you to that degree.
To that degree, because it just ate him up.
Ate him the fuck.
He couldn't pay rent.
He was a real wrestler.
Yeah.
He was a wrestler.
He was that. You know, when they say you bleed for your art, that's the dude that they're talking about.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's a professional.
That's the stereotype. That's the struggle. That's the dark artist, the troubled artist. That was that. That's what happens. That's his ultimate conclusion.
Guy who made it. And it's like is it the guy who not made? No, that's the guy who made it. That's the guy who got to the mountaintop.
Wrestler.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was on the marquee headlining one of the. He was one of the dudes.
The greatest match of all time was him and the Ayatollah in this universe.
Yeah, not the greatest match of all time. It was just one of the biggest matches. It's wrestling.
Well, yeah, so Madison Square, but like we sold out Madison Square Garden.
Exactly. But like, this is wrestling at that time. So he would have been in that era. I guess that 70s, like that era of wrestling, like
it was the
80s era of. Yeah. So right before the TV fame of wrestling.
Right.
So you know what I mean. So he's.
I mean,
he'd have been big. He wouldn't have been
wasn't that the TV fame of wrestling in the 80s? If you're selling out Madison Square Garden,
no. That was when wrestling was just wrestling still, bro. TV fame was like the 90s, that rock era, bro. When the Hulk Hogan, when TV,
Hulk Hogan was the 80s, early 90s. But like also late 80s.
Late 80s, but the TV era came in, I feel like that early 90s though. Is when that like big explosion of like every wrestling on television.
Well, I don't know anything about wrestling, but I just assume if in the 80s, if you can sell at Madison Square Garden, you're on TV.
Yeah, they were on TV, but not like. I guess TV got bigger in the 90s because that's what made wrestling just so big. Took it to that next level of just like constant arenas. Because you remember that was a big match in an arena, and now it's like every match is in an arena. Like the smallest matches are in an arena. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. So it's like it was big, but he would have just been one of the big names, just a big name, just another big name.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He wouldn't have been like a Andre the Giant or somebody or Ric Flair. Mm-hmm. He would just been one of the guys that Ric Flair fought. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like look at all the people that fought Muhammad Ali. We don't know all those guys. We know Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? That's still other heavyweight contenders,
right?
You know what I mean? Like these people, just like I said, struggling artists who don't get to be the guy.
But it seemed to me that he was the guy in this universe.
He was a guy. Yeah. He was just like I guess. How would you look at it? How lots of people are,
Yeah, but that's what it seemed to me. That's why I took.
He wasn't like Hulk Hogan, clearly. You know what I'm saying?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the fame never
He wasn't
kept
that level. He was a guy who fought Hulk Hogan, probably that level. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
I'll maybe agree with that.
Okay. I guess.
Yeah, it was. It's just like, man, when you're that old too, and you've been doing one thing your entire life, to just switch.
Yeah.
So I just like work. Like a part of me is like, man, if I were him, I would definitely rather die in the ring than at a grocery store, cutting meat for people.
How's he going? But he can't. Right? He shouldn't have been wrestling no more.
He shouldn't have been wrestling anymore.
So that's the thing, though. It's like, what do you do? And you can't do anything else. You have no kind of education or stability to just the stability really to just do anything.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that with Marissa Tomei too. It's like, what is she gonna do if she It's tough. It's tough for older people to find jobs.
Bro.
Yeah, especially older women.
Yeah, bro. Because you can't. I mean, even golly, man.
Yeah, like
you can't do physical labor. It's hard to find a job. You can't do any kind of physical labor.
Yeah, the system is tilted against you like crazy.
Yeah, this movie was fucked up.
It was fucked up as shit.
Really
good
movie. Really, if you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. It was really good.
Yeah, it was. The problem was it was too real. There was no redemption for anybody.
No.
Everyone is just fucked up by this dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's no his decisions just affected so many people in like almost a very negative way. In a very negative way. Not almost. Very negative.
His own self, everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was golly, man, it was a real movie.
Yeah, it's all because I've never seen any of other Aronofsky movies, so they're all like that feeling of just like hopelessness. Because that's how I felt. It was hopeless as shit.
Yeah, I mean the moment of hope. They give you one moment of hope when he drops his daughter off, and there's like they plan the dinner. It's the only moment where you're like everything's all going on. He just called and said he wasn't gonna do any more wrestling. Yeah. There was literally a 2-minute scene where there was hope.
And then
hour and a half.
And then he fucked like a fireman.
God,
it all went away.
He sure did, didn't he?
He fucked like a fireman, got coked out, missed the dinner. It all went away.
Definitely the most fun part of the movie.
Oh, yeah, it was great. He's just fucking the shit out of her in the bathroom.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah, with your weird-ass face. Mickey Rourke has the weirdest face.
Dude, that's not a real face. And yet it's a real face.
Yeah, well, it's a real face for that role. But, like, you can't imagine him as anything else.
Other than the other roles I've seen him in, like Sin City and shit.
Yeah, where he's
also this guy.
Where he'd be a guy with a weird face. Yeah. Mickey Rourke has to be a guy with a weird face.
He's always a guy with a weird face.
Always. He can't be like somebody's dad. Unless
I've actually seen
dad
it.
was fucked up.
What's that Denzel movie? Man on Fire. You seen that?
No.
You ever seen Man on Fire?
No.
We gotta put that on the list, nigga. He's a regular person in that. But
Really?
you know what? No, he's a regular person with a weird face.
With a weird- I had to look up pictures of how he looked like before whatever the fuck happened.
Before life happened to him?
Yeah, before whatever the fuck happened, because I was like, what does his human face look like? I was curious.
I feel you.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, okay, he did actually at one point just look like a regular person.
He did.
Yeah. One thing you missed?
What did I miss?
I thought was great.
I forgot to ask what I missed.
Yeah. Well, I peppered it in
Yeah.
through. But I thought you said I wouldn't recognize the daughter. The daughter is Dolores from Westworld.
Oh!
Yeah, like the show that you were binge watching. But
I love that movie. Well, yeah, it's the shit. I gotta watch season 2, episode 2.
Yeah, I haven't watched season 2.
God, it's so funny when this airs. It'll be like, they could be like, what?
Yeah, season 2 will be over by the time this airs.
That's how we killing it, baby.
Yeah, but she's a good actress.
Yo, she's great. I didn't even fucking recognize her. That's how good she was. She also,
You wouldn't recognize. I wouldn't.
not once in The Wrestler did she go, this world isn't real.
Yeah, not once in the way did she go, Arnold. Yeah.
Analysis.
Yeah, I wouldn't have recognized her either if her name hadn't popped up in the title screen. Her name popped up in the credits, and I was like, that's the daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, Evan Rachel Wood, you're killing it.
She's killing it.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Killing it. It's The Wrestler, everyone. If you want to feel sad, watch this fucking movie.
It's great. I love you guys.
It's really good.
And we back.
Hey.
Beaners, we are back. Baba,
Hey.
what's up, buddy?
Not much. Just excited
I'm excited. Guys,
for today.
he doesn't know what movie it is. Isn't that great? You know. He doesn't know. I know. Ehsan,
What happens? Let's start.
you ready?
Yeah.
Tell me what happens
Mhm.
in the film Antz.
Shit.
Dude, you're the best. Come on. Come on, dude.
Okay.
Gotta love this guy.
So Woody Allen I know Woody Allen's the main ant.
Okay.
So Woody Allen is the main ant, which means he is like a nervous, neurotic ant.
Yes.
Yeah. There's probably some ant girl that he meets at the very beginning that he's trying to vie for her affection, but
Are you about to describe Annie Hall to me?
she kind of, a little bit. Well, she kind of doesn't know he exists, and he's trying to hit on her, and he's neurotic. He probably doesn't stack the food in the right places because it doesn't fit. This is a Bug's Life now. It doesn't, yeah. It doesn't,
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask if you've seen that.
yeah.
I like how you're like, all right, just keep doing it.
Yeah,
That's your
it's
style.
just-
That's your
it's
style.
just
I know your
animated
style.
stuff. Yeah. He doesn't stack the food in the right places, but what would
The conflict.
what would a Woody Allen ant be wanting? Let's see. There's a reason why they have him, right? That's his main character. He's an Annie Hall. He gets arrested.
Annie Hall.
He gets not Annie Hall, and yeah, he gets arrested by that cop. He probably doesn't want to conform. He's Woody Allen. He does like shit differently, and ants are ants. So he doesn't want to be a regular ant. He wants to be some kind of artist ant or whatever.
Okay.
He wants to be some kind of ant.
Ant that does stand up.
Yeah, right? An ant that does something different than all the other ants. 'Cause all the other ants probably all do stuff the same.
Okay.
Or all the other ants are like, they're ants. So they get the food, they bring it back for the queen. And Woody Allen's like,
You
I don't
describe
wanna-
a Bug's Life, but I like it. Keep
Yeah.
going.
I don't want to do stuff for the queen. I'm Woody Allen. That's what he said. And
I like
then-
that you keep describing.
yeah. Well, no, they don't do
No,
stuff
I
for
know.
the queen. in Bug's
The
Life.
food part is
Yeah.
really funny.
And then he probably this is probably an ant therapist of some kind that he talks to. I'm just going through all the Woody
I
Allen
know,
things
I
I
can
know.
tell.
Yeah, it's like a therapist who probably tells him that he's got to be the same. But then he goes out and he explores and does stuff that normal ants don't do. And then he takes this girl with him, and then he shows her there's more to the world than just being an ant and being what you're told to do. You can be yourself.
Beautiful. And that's how you ain't happy on that one.
Yeah, it's ants. Oh, probably like his best friend gets squished by something.
Ooh,
Yeah.
look at you getting real.
Yeah. Getting real.
Did that happen in the beginning or the end of the movie?
Happens in the end or the middle when he was like, in the middle, because he's like, it's great being different, and then his friend gets squished, and it's like the low point of the movie
Ooh.
where he's like, oh man,
Is it?
did I make the right decision?
Is it great being different?
Maybe it's better to just be an ant.
Your friends are alive. Guys, as always, he's very wrong. But it's fun to start. It's fun to do. He's the best. Let's get into ants.
Yeah. Antz. That's all I know about it is Woody Allen. And that's because you told me that like years ago.
And you were right.
Yeah.
And you were right, my friend. And I told you that because he is a big Woody Allen fan. Know that going into this. Guys.
You know what? I'm more of a Woody Allen fan. I like his movies, but I'm more of a Woody Allen fan because people tell me I should be a Woody Allen fan because I have that vibe.
Interesting.
And so I've become a Woody Allen
I've always known you as a Woody Allen fan.
Yeah, but that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Because people told me, like,
Which is interesting, you hadn't seen
Allen
this.
Fan. Yeah. Well, it's not his movie. He's just in it. It's not a Woody Allen movie.
Let's get into it.
But it's totally a Woody Allen movie.
Let's dive in.
Yeah, if it's anything like I described, it's totally a Woody Allen movie.
So the movie starts with like some soft piano music, very Disney kind of music. You know, that kind of vibe, that soft piano music playing, right? And you see an animated hand holding a microscope panning over the screen. And you see like little names on the screen, all over the screen. And then you see when the microscope gets over them, it's the cast. Like it's like some of the cast. You know what I mean? So that's how like the credits.
I'll find out as we go.
Yeah, you'll find out. But lots of people.
Okay.
Okay. You recognize pretty much everyone.
Okay.
You recognize everyone.
Okay.
So you see New York City, right? Big shot of New York City. And then it pans down and you see like grass. And then it pans down to like into the grass. And then you hear somebody start talking and then they go, all my life, I've lived in the big city.
This is great.
And it pans all the way down to a very, very Jewish ant.
Of course.
Sitting on a leaf, talking to a therapist.
I fucking knew it.
And he's like, I feel trapped, and I tell myself there has to be something better, and my mother never had time for me. When you're the middle child in a family of 5 million, there's just no time for you. And then my father was a drone; he flew away when I was just a larva, and I, in my job, I mean, I can't do it. I mean, I'm physically inadequate, and when you get down to it, I mean, handling dirt, I mean, that's not really my style of a career, And he's like, and then he starts questioning the colony and like his needs in life to the therapist,
I'm
like
so
his own personal
away.
needs in life.
That's great, Woody Allen.
And then he goes, there must be a better place. I just feel so insignificant. And then the doctor goes, you made a real breakthrough, Z. And he goes, I did? He goes, yes. You are insignificant. Ants. The movie just starts just like that.
I was gonna say you're a fucking ant. Of course you're insignificant.
Exactly, dude.
You're part of the whole.
Not when you're a Woody Allen ant.
No, you gotta do your own stuff.
Gotta do your own stuff.
So you gotta take a girl to like Maine and put lobsters in her face or whatever the fuck he does.
I'm sure there's something about Paris.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah,
Paris.
Yeah. Woody Allen, it's always like, nowadays it's always like, here's this weird thing in a foreign country.
Yeah. That's you now, bro.
Yeah.
Like more ant stuff.
That's all. Like, next time it's gonna be like a time traveler in Beirut. And it's it's like, what the fuck?
But it's still like a love story.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about time travel? You're just using it for love?
Yeah, they're always like rich socialite people.
Yeah. We'll get into this.
Yeah, okay.
I like this movie. All right, so
this is just instead of Barcelona, it's in an ant world.
So the movie starts. They show the big colony, right? And it looks like it looks just like New York. It's huge. It's a huge monster city. And then they show Z, and he's heading into work, and he looks miserable. He's like, like that, and they're playing the music, like just Disney kind of music, like intro
and it's the
stuff.
same music. It's sort of like the same music throughout. Is it like the Everything Is Awesome song? And the Lego Movie where it's like
it's not like actual song, more like background music.
No, not like a song, but like it's the same song to get you to do what you're supposed to do.
No.
Because that's what the Everything Is Awesome song, right?
No, it's not like that. Not that kind of vibe. Not that kind of vibe.
Okay, so it's not that oppressive.
No.
He's just complaining.
He's just complaining. He's very complaining. He's Woody Allen.
Woody Allen.
So they show the colony. They just kind of give grand scale of just how monstrous, like just big it is.
Right.
And then they show like in the middle of it's a big glowing ball. And you can imagine, like, oh, that must be where, like, the queen would live.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So then they show all these babies getting born, right? Mm-hmm. Cut to, like, the big ball in the sky. And they show baby getting born after baby after baby. And then what they would do is they take the baby, and then they put it on the table, and then somebody looks at it and goes, worker. And then they put a worker hat on it and slide him down. Another baby. Soldier. Hat. Brother baby. Worker. And that's just how, and it's just to show you, like, those are the two jobs.
Yeah. and you don't have a choice.
You have no choice. It's right when you're born, just like that.
That's
all right?
rough. That's rough.
Yeah. Then they show like teenage ants like getting trained like how to be workers, like they show them, and then like other ants getting trained like how to be like kind of soldiers. Just like a big scale of just like how big it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then it cuts back to Z, and he's walking up to, he's got his pickaxe, got his worker helmet on. He's like, okay, positive attitude. You gotta have positive attitude, all right? And he starts working. He's like, I'm pumped today. And he's like, he's fucking hitting the wall, like just pickaxing the wall.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's a miner.
Yeah, he's giving himself affirmations. He definitely sees a therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then right then somebody knocks dust into him, and he's like, hey. And it's this other ant named Azteca, and it's J-Lo.
She better not die really quickly. Is that because we just released? So today we just released Jersey Girl for the people in the future listening to this. So I don't trust
anything with J-Lo right now.
Yeah, this J-Lo ant. I'm like, is she gonna die?
She does die a lot.
Does she die in Made in Manhattan? I've never seen it, but I don't think she gets murdered.
You don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I really don't know.
You wait till we get there, sir. Till we get to Made in Manhattan, which we will, guys. Don't worry.
You've been asking for it.
Hopefully by this point they have.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yo, and if you are asking for that, amazing.
Yeah, please let us know.
So he's talking to J-Lo, and she tells him how, like, hey, stop talking so crazy. You just worry about the colony, and we're all a team and stuff like that, right? And then right then, their boss comes in and tells them like, hey, you guys are on Wrecking Ball today. Like their section.
Yeah.
And then Z out loud mockingly goes, be the ball. Like, right? Like, and then she goes, Z, I love my job. You need to have a better attitude and blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? Just kind of going off on them. And then right then they're setting up, like they're all forming this huge wrecking ball, all the ants.
That's great.
It's really cool.
That's great.
They're forming this huge wrecking ball, and then they're all climbing up it. And Z is the connecting part. So J-Lo would be the one right here. Z is this one, and then the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then here's the ball. So it's like he's this. Here's like this is the ball he's in.
Okay, so whatever is about to happen, just know their boss shouldn't have made him the most important part of the ball.
Clearly the most important part of the wrecking ball.
Yeah, it clearly should have been someone who wants to do the job.
Maybe the J-Lo person.
Yeah.
He's also way bigger than him. He's not that big. He's very
he's
small.
Like a scrawny.
Very scrawny.
He's Woody Allen.
He's Woody Allen ant.
Yeah, I wouldn't want Woody Allen to be like doing the most important physical work.
So,
like if his job was like, hey, this ant has to be witty, I'd be like, all right, send the Woody Allen.
Yeah, we need the funny guy.
Yeah.
So they go, the worker, the one guy out loud says, all right, everybody, be the ball. And then he shows Woody Allen just go, ugh, like that,
Yeah.
And then they let loose, right? And then they just start demolishing shit like a wrecking ball.
Right.
And then you hear Z go, I don't like heights. I don't like heights, guys. And then he lets go and like to keep himself from throwing up. And then of course the ball just goes and destroys a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, oh, come on. And then you hear J-Lo just go, oh, Z, right? So it pans back and you see a general watching all this happen.
Right.
A big general ant, right? Huge, big buff motherfucker. And it's Gene Hackman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is he also part of a jury?
We'll get there.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is really outside Gene Hackman's. Look at him expanding.
I know. So he goes.
He's got rage. He could be a juror and an ant.
Yeah.
And a basketball coach.
Yeah. I actually like Gene Hackman.
Yeah, he's actually a good actor.
Yeah, have you seen Enemy of the State?
No.
Yeah, you don't know shit about Gene Hackman, bro.
I also haven't seen French Connection. I haven't seen any of
Yeah, but I was like, no, because right when I said, I was like, actually, he's in some great movies.
He's in some great. It's just like lately he's been in like there was a whole movie where there was a whole span where he was just in like law related movies.
Yeah, Enemy of the State, especially.
Yeah,
that's my big one, and it's like, yeah, that's very law, but he's good in it.
You know what I mean? It's just that's what he does.
So he's like, the workers are weak. Mm-hmm. He's just looking at him like, like disappointed, and he says, but they can't help it. It's in their nature, And he's talking to Z's boss. He starts yelling at him. The guy who was like, be the ball, that guy.
Yeah.
He's yelling at him. He's like, you guys need to finish this tunnel on time, or you're going to have to deal with Lieutenant Cutter. And let me tell you something. He's not as nice as I am. And then they pan to the left, and it's another ant. And he's like a skinnier ant, but he's like fucking
crazy
militant looking motherfucker.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And then they all leave, right? Everybody leaves the office. And it's just him and Cutter. And he goes, 4 more days, Cutter. 4 more days, and we could bid farewell to their incompetence. A fresh start. And then it cuts to Cutter, and it's Christopher Walken.
Wow.
And he goes, a fresh start? Yes, sir. For the colony, sir. That's what he says. I'm not playing. When you watch it, like, yo, Deric is a bad motherfucker, bro. That's how all these niggas talk. So
jeez, what a cast.
Oh, cast's amazing. I'm not done either. Cast is amazing. The general tells him how they heard, like, he's telling Cutter, he's like, I heard the termites were talking shit. You know what I mean? Basically, termites were saying this and that, and he's like, we're gonna attack them. And then Cutter says, but sir, that's suicide. And he's like, exactly. He's like, do you have the list I asked for? And he's like, yes, sir. And he's like, perfect. These are the men that are loyal to the queen, yes? And he's like, yes, sir. He's like, good. They will be sent in first.
Oh, shit.
He's like,
there's an ant coup happening?
Oh, dude.
Oh,
it's
wow.
a Woody Allen movie.
I'm sorry. I forgot. A lot of Woody Allen has military coups in them.
Did you really watch Annie Hall?
Man, I forgot. Forgot in Manhattan that 17-year-old was really General MacArthur.
General MacArthur? Yeah, okay, you guys said it. Okay.
I forgot that 17-year-old girl that he's fucking.
So he goes, he's like, he goes, but sir, we need the Queen's permission for war, I thought. And then he goes, our next stop, Cutter. And then they start walking, like heading out the office, right? Mm-hmm. So the next scene, the general is like, it's the Queen. And she's like, but General, we've been at peace with that colony for years. Why would they attack? And then the general's like, because they think we're weak bitches. That's why. They think we're pussies. And then
Did he say that? Does he actually say that?
He says a bunch of that. He says that pretty much.
Is this a kid's movie?
This is a kid's movie.
Okay.
This is a kid's movie. Yeah, it's a kid's movie. So during the conversation that they're having, she's giving birth every second. So there's a baby coming out, and then they're handing her the baby, and then she looks at it for a second, and then she hands it off to get like worker. Like it's a part of the assembly line. Yeah, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So and her ass is huge.
Yeah. Of course.
Fat ass.
Okay, well, relax.
Like that shit's fat.
Oh Jesus.
What?
I feel very uncomfortable.
Why are you feeling uncomfortable?
It's an ass.
It's just a fat ass.
Is it just a fat ass?
That shit fat.
Or is it a fat abdomen section? Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So
either way, that shit's a fat ass abdomen section, bro.
Does you know who plays the Queen?
Oh, fuck. I forgot who plays the Queen. An old white lady.
I don't know what else I was expecting. Like a young black man?
That'd have been really cool.
If I'd have been Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, if I'd have been like Michael B. Jordan, you'd be like, whoa, that nigga's got raped.
Yeah.
And he's doing that as a young kid?
Yeah.
This is before Hardball.
This is before fucking The Wire even, too.
So, she's saying like he's telling her all this, and then he convinces her that we need to attack the termites before they attack us. And then she goes, well, very well, if you say. And then he goes, you made a wide decision, my queen. And then right then you hear another ant go, hello, General. And then it cuts to, he looks at him, he goes, Princess Bala. And you see a beautiful ant walk up, and it's Sharon Stone.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
we might see this ant's vagina.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah. So she tries to talk to him, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, it would be nice if we could just have a conversation, General, before we get married. Mm-hmm. And then he goes, I don't know if we, he says, let me see if I can make the time. Cutter? And then Cutter goes, sir, you have a little time right now. And then he's like, good, quality time. And then she goes, oh, well, how was your day? And he goes, well, we declared war. And he like smiles, and she's like, okay. And then right then Cutter goes, sir, time's up. And then he's like, very well, princess. And then they leave, right? And then she's just like,
oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't love this guy. That's going to be a plot point for sure.
You sure?
Maybe.
So she starts.
I was taken aback by the Queen being an old white lady. So who knows what I know?
She complains to her mom about marrying this stiff. Oh, gotta marry this fucking stiff. He sucks, mom. And then she says, oh, honey, he cares about you. Trust me. He begged to marry you. He said you were so important to him and he needed you for something.
Part of the plan.
And trust me, he just can't show it, but he loves you. And then she goes, but I want my own life. And then she goes, but you're going to have to continue my work, sweetie. That's what you're going to do. And she goes, also, a princess's life is pretty amazing. At least you're not hauling dirt every day. And then she looks down and she's like, but at least they're having fun. And then she looks down and everyone's partying, all the workers, right?
Right.
So it cuts back down to all the workers partying. And Z is hanging out with a big-ass ant, big buff motherfucker. And it's Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Are we going to get a Sylvester Stallone accent?
So...
oh, my God.
They're at the bar chilling.
Here it comes.
And then he's telling them like, oh, you have it so lucky, man. You're a soldier ant. You guys have the awesome life. And then he goes, well, you get to hang out with us. You get to hang out with the hot worker ants all day. And then he's like, oh yeah, but they're Korea girls. All they're obsessed with is digging, which is a funny joke. That's a very funny joke.
That's a good line.
A very funny joke. And so they're drinking beer, and they're drinking like, well, it's not beer. It's like it's beer, but it's like
it's ant beer.
It's like an ant. It's like a little bug, and they just squeeze the juice from its asshole. And I know this because he goes, hey, you gotta finish your beer. And then he's like, I don't really want to drink the juice from another bug's anus.
He says anus?
He says anus.
There's a lot of butt play in this.
Oh, yeah, it's Woody Allen.
Yeah.
So, right then, Stallone asks him, like, why you always bitching,
It's Woody Allen.
He's like, why you always bitching,
His
man?
new movie, Butt Play and Lisbon.
Butt playing lesbian.
Yeah.
And then he goes, we ants, we're running the show. He's like, we're lords of the earth, he's like, yeah. And he's like flexing. And then Z's like, there must be a better place than this, right? And then right then it cuts to an old guy at the bar next to him. And he's like, there is a better place. Insectopia. And then Z's like, fucking lunatic, 3 o'clock, check out this guy. And then he goes, no, it's heaven. There's no war. All the food you can imagine, all the drink you could ever have. Nobody telling you what to do. It's everything you can imagine as an ant, And then he's
Probably
like
a dumpster.
And then he's like, oh, this guy's crazy. And he's like, no, trust me, just head for the monolith. And then across the lake. And then right then these other like ants come in. They're like, all right, old timer, time to go. And they start dragging him out. And then Z's like, wouldn't it be great if it was that easy? And then you hear the guy go, look for the place of the red and white. You'll find it across the lake. And he gets dragged away, right?
Right.
And Z's kind of just looking at him. Like, what? So they cut to the corner. It's really shot very well because right there, like all the shots kind of go with the next shot.
Okay.
So they cut to the corner as he's getting dragged away, and the princess is walking in with some friends, like sneaking down to the party.
That's very, you know what that's like? That's very Seinfeld.
Where the next shot leads to the next
shot leads to the next shot.
Seinfeld I like things that do that. It's great.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it in every shot in this, but it did like a couple of them. It's like, oh, this is really good for an animated movie.
Yeah.
So you see her coming sneaking down, and they sneak into the party, and then they're all scared, all the friends, and the princess isn't. She's like, let's go have fun. And they're like, oh, we shouldn't be here, princess. We shouldn't be doing this. And she's like, oh, fuck that shit. Let's go have some fun, girls. Let's go party. And then she runs in, right? And they're like,
Yeah, you can't. You're the princess.
You're
you
the
gotta
princess.
be princess stuff.
So right then you hear it goes, beep, like over an intercom. And it goes, somebody in this voice, he goes, all right, everyone, 6:15, time to dance. Might as well have been Stephen Wright. Right?
Or like Ben Stein.
Yeah, just the most boring voice ever.
Yeah.
And then Stallone's like, hey, come on, Z, let's go dance. And then he's like, I don't want to dance. He's like, I'm not dancing. You know what I mean? He's like, fuck that. I don't want to dance. Everybody has to do the same two-step. It's bullshit. And then he's like, yeah. And so he leaves to go dance, right? So the princess, she looks at one of her friends. She's like, I'm going to ask one of these losers to dance. And she looks around, and he's the only person at the bar not dancing. You know what I mean? So she's like, all right, I'm gonna go up to him. And then they cut back to him, and he's like talking to him. So he's like, I wish I would dance. I'm not gonna dance. I'm gonna be some goddamn zombie out there doing a goddamn dance like everybody else. And then she goes, hey, big fella. And he turns, and of course it's like her face is glowing.
Yeah, it's glowing.
And she's like, do you want to dance? And he's like, yeah. And so she takes him out to the dance floor. And they're playing this. The song sounds like a fucking metronome or some shit. It's like do 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 do, and everybody's going dun. Dun, 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 dun,
All right, everyone's dancing the same in like a line.
Just a billion ants doing the same line dance, okay?
Right.
So he walks out, and he's kind of nervous, and then they head out to the floor, and then he tries to do like the same step that everyone else is doing, but he can't really do it.
Yeah.
And somebody knocks into him, right, and he goes, youch! And then she goes, what? And he goes, youch. And then and then he grabs her, and then he starts dancing all cool, like and then she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just kind of making it up as I go. And then he's like doing all this shit, and then she's like okay, and she likes it, and then they start just fucking dancing their asses off.
And then everyone's like looking at him like,
no, it's just a shot up of them two dancing. Okay. And then it cuts to him, and he's like literally like, this nigga's doing like the moonwalk. You know what I mean? All kind of shit. And then he moonwalks right into somebody, right? And it cuts back into reality, like damn. Like you hear the real music that's going on.
Yeah.
And then a guy's like, hey, watch it, bro. And then she runs up, and she's like, don't talk shit to him like that. And then he grabs her like, whoa, I'm sorry. Because the guy's like way bigger than him. He's like, oh, really? And he's like, yo, you can't be talking to me like that. And she's like, you need to stand up for yourself. And then right then another ant comes up to him and is like, hey, little guy, get back in your place. And then he looks at her, and she's like, and he's like, what if I don't want to? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then these other two ants come up behind him like, oh, I think we're gonna have to teach this little ant a little lesson in where he belongs. And then they throw a punch, and right as they throw the punch, Stallone pops in, and it just hits his abs.
Yeah.
And of course, the guy like looks up, and he's like, "You got some real aggressive behavior." Boom! And he knocks the guy out, and then a giant brawl breaks out.
Does the ant look like Stallone?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks just
So
like.
there's no other Jewish looking ants, are there? Is it just Woody Allen?
I like how the J-Lo's ant looks Mexican.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone's ant look like him, and then
Sylvester
Woody
Stallone.
Allen's ant looks Jewish as fuck. Gene Hackman's ant looks like him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Christopher Walken?
No, his doesn't look like his.
Looks like a character.
His looks like a young him. His looks like the him in The Deer Hunter.
Never seen The Deer Hunter, but I know what young Christopher Walken looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
That.
He's in The Deer Hunter?
Oh, dude, he is the Deer Hunter.
Oh, there's a lot of famous people in that movie then.
Oh, I mean, that's one of the biggest Oscar movies. The movie's so good. We'll get there, guys.
Maybe.
We have a lot of places to get. But we'll get to all of them, I promise. Like, we got to get to Made in Manhattan and The Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
Yo, spoil the beans. Fuck y'all, bro.
Same vibe.
Love it.
If I had to guess, if you told me, like, what's the same vibe as Made in Manhattan? I'd probably say Deer Hunter.
Deer Hunter?
Yeah.
So right then she says, like, she's running and somebody says, Princess Bala, we gotta go. And he hears that, right? Z here. He goes, you're the princess? And then she's like, oh, I gotta go. And he runs, he's like, but when can I see you again? And she's like trying to run it with her, and she stops and looks at him, and she goes, let me think. Never.
Oh.
And then she kisses him on the cheek, right?
I guess he gets a kiss on the cheek.
He kind of smiles, and then right then he gets knocked out.
By one of the other ants.
Just some other punch. You don't see it, just
yeah.
he gets knocked out, poof, right? And that's how the scene ends.
Right.
So next day at work, he's singing. He's like, to be loved in a day, da-da-da, when I say to be loved. And he's like working. He's singing this while he's working, right?
Right.
And he's like saying youch to himself and all that shit. And he's just having a great time. And then at night, he waits at the bar all night for her, but she doesn't show.
Oh, that sucks. But I get that. At least that's nice. That feeling when you're like, I killed it with that girl.
Yeah, and maybe she'll come back.
And
maybe.
you just wake up all happy. Oh, that's nice. It's
a great feeling. Oh, I love that feeling.
That's a great feeling.
So the bartender, he's sitting next to the bartender. The bartender tells him how it's always slow the night before royal reviews. And then Z's like, oh, that's it. Takes off running, and he goes to Sly Stone's bed. Mm-hmm. Weaver is the ant's actual name.
Okay.
And he wakes him up, and he's like, psst, Weaver. Wakes him up. Weaver's like, what? And he's like, switch places with me. And Weaver's like, what? He's like, switch places. I'll be the worker. I'll be the soldier. You'll be the worker just for a day. And he's like, no, we can't do that. We'll get in so much trouble. He's like, trust me, man, please, I got to do it. And he goes, Z, you can't impersonate a soldier. He's like, do you know how much trouble you'll get into for something like that? And then right then it pans back, and you see all the ants like listening to the conversation. Like all the ants, right? They're listening. And he goes, you know how much trouble you'll get into for even listening to somebody talk about impersonating a soldier? And then everybody goes to sleep. And so he goes, I got to see her again. He's like, if I can't see her again, Weaver, life's not worth living. And then he goes, all right,
a little dramatic.
And he goes, let's just switch for a day. And then he goes, come on, Weaver, think of all the things I've done for you. And then Weaver goes, I can't think of any. And he goes, okay, but think of all the things I'm gonna do for you. And he goes, look, man, she's not gonna remember you. And then he goes, I gotta try. He goes, oh boy. And he lets him do it. They switch.
Oh, you're a good friend, Sylvester Stallone.
So the next scene, he's marching with a million of soldier ants. Now he's dressed like a soldier ant now, right?
Right.
And he's marching with all these soldier ants, millions of soldier ants in front of the queen. Like you can see the queen. She's like, you remember that scene in The Lion King, bro, when they're marching in front of Scar? The lion, like they look like Hitler or some shit.
Yes.
So it looks like that. It's that kind of shot. Like they're marching by like that.
Right.
He thought he was gonna have a private conversation with her. So he's trying, as they're marching, he's like, Queen Bala, Princess Bala. But you can't, from her view, she can't even see him. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
So he has no idea what's happening, right? Princess Bala. He's trying to wave and get her attention.
You've seen the review before, Woody Allen. You should know.
You should know. So he's trying to yell and wave, and he can't get her attention, obviously, right? Well, he's seen the review, but yeah, you're right. He should know.
You should know.
So finally somebody says, halt, right? And he's still trying to get her attention. And then all the other soldiers are like, shut up. Hey, shut up. Get back in line, And then finally an older one grabs him. Like an older soldier grabs him and like tells him like, hey, youngster, you need to relax. And it's Danny Glover.
Oh.
Dude, this cast right now. I told you we weren't done.
Oh, holy shit.
So Danny Glover like telling him like, hey man, you must be new around here acting like this. And he goes, I'm not really new. I'm not really, it's just, it's more of like a trial membership. And then Danny Glover like starts laughing. He's like, trial membership? He's like, I like you, kid. You're funny. Name's Barbados, right? And he goes, all right, name's Z. right? So right then, Gene Hackman gives a speech and he's like, it's about the colony and how Antz should live to fight and die for the colony. And then, they're all like, Z's kind of making fun of everything he says, right?
And killing Barbados.
Huh?
Is Barbados listening to what he says?
Yeah, and Barbados is loving it. Like, this guy's cracking, this guy's saying all this shit, right?
Yeah.
So, and then he goes, you're the Queen's finest. This is Gene Hackman. And he goes, and I'm proud to send you into battle. And then right then, Z goes, battle? Wait, what is battle? What does he mean battle? And then he goes, I just came for the speech. And then right then Barbados goes, oh, no, kid, we're about to go into battle. This is the war. We're about to go into war. And he goes, what? I can't do that. And he's like, don't worry, kid. I got your back. And then they start marching. Right? And he's fucking having a heart attack.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my
God.
Like trying to but it's so millions of ants marching forward that they're pushing him. Yeah. They're just pushing him forward. He can't turn. He can't get it out. It's like, oh shit.
Hey, you're going to
war. Now they're heading outside of the colony. So it's also exactly what he wanted.
Well, that's what you get when you have a dumbass plan.
Yeah. It's also a really good movie, by the way. I should have mentioned earlier. This is a good movie.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this.
Oh, yeah. That's why I thought you were saying, was like, oh, because she thought it was going to be, and then when she watched, she was like, this is fucking good. I was like, yeah, it's Woody Allen. He does do good stuff.
He does do good movies.
So
Butt Plan Lisbon, coming next fall.
Yeah. So, like right then, like he's having that part, and you hear all the ants go, we ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. We slaughter termites one by one, hurrah, hurrah. And then right then you hear the Z, he's like panicking, he talks about Barbados, he goes, Barbados, he's like, so these termites, right? He's like, they're not that tough, are they? They're not that tough, right? And he goes, well, they're 5 times our size. He's like, and they shoot acid from their heads. And Z, but cuts to Z's face, and he's like, and then you hear, we ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. We'll all be dead before we're through, hurrah, hurrah. And Z's like, yo, what? He's like listening to he's like freaking out. And so the song like keeps going like that too. It gets like worse and worse, like, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, can't we do this politically? Come on. It's like, I know there's a way democratically. He's like saying all this shit that Woody Allen would say.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then right then they get there and he's like, come on, kid, let's go kick some termite butt. And then they all rush in, right? And it's a cool overhead shot of them, like millions of ants all rushing into like a dead tree stump. You know what I mean? Like, it's a really cool shot. So they all rush in and then they all get there and then, like they're looking around and they're like, and they all got their pickaxes and stuff. And no, it's empty. No one's there.
Yeah.
And then of course, one goes, where is everyone? Something isn't right.
It's an ambush.
They look confused, and then one turns, and then you just hear, and it's a huge monster bug. Like just a monster of a bug. And it just grabs like 3 of the ants and just kills them easily. Just easily. You know what I mean? All hell breaks out. They start shooting acid out their heads and just melting ants. Just melting. It's a really gruesome scene, by the way.
Yeah.
And then you just see like that classic shot of like millions of termites and millions of ants like, like they collide and just fucking war. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Z is, as you can tell, is having a heart attack.
Yeah, he's cowering somewhere.
Yeah. Well, Barbados, he's like standing there and he's freaking out, and then termite's about to kill him, and Barbados comes and saves his life. All right. And he goes, you saved my life. And he's like, don't get all sappy about it, kid. And then Barbados runs off and starts killing a bunch of other termites. You can just tell he's like, oh, he's a badass.
Yeah, Barbados is.
Yeah. And so Z starts right then, he gets chased by another one, and he starts running, right? And then as he starts running, he falls into a hole. And right as he falls into the hole, somebody kills a termite right over top of the hole. And then you hear him going, guys, help! And then it fades to black. So
now he's on his own.
They show a Sly Stone ant, right? And he's he's doing Z's job.
Right.
And he's loving it. He's like talking shit to himself. He's like, oh yeah, baby. Fuck yeah. Big guy coming through. Oh yeah. He's just like loving it, this job, right? Because he doesn't have to kill people, which is great.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I get to see his side of it now. I was like,
he's
much
not running,
better.
Well, he's not running into a murder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clearly the general tipped off the termites.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It was fucked up. So the big guy, I don't know why I'm telling you. Yeah, so the big guy, he says all that shit.
Oh, no, I understand how writing works. You don't have to.
So he grabs 2 axes, at one point, and he's like, oh, and he starts flipping around real cool, and then he starts going all crazy over the wall, right? Mm-hmm. And then right then you hear somebody go, whoa, take it easy, Muscles. And it's J-Lo. And of course he's like,
Mexican air. Oh.
Yeah. And then she goes, you're making us all look bad. And she's like, where's Z? And he's like, oh, he's taking a day. I'm just filling in. And she's like, oh, well, if you fill in anymore, you're going to explode. And he's like, ugh. And he starts checking her out. And she's like, what are you looking at, right? And he's like, oh, nothing. I just love being down here, man. You get to swing an axe all day and you get your biceps and you try. He starts flexing for her. And then she's like checking him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then right then, the lame boss ant comes up. And he's like, hey, what's going on here? Why aren't you guys working? And she's like, oh, I was just talking to the new guy who's filling in for Z. And she's like, oh. And then he says, you guys need to get back to work, or what? He yells at him, like Sylvester Stallone. And then she goes, hey, don't yell at him. He's just a new guy. And she goes, and he goes, well, just for that, you just lost your food rations for the day. And then she's like, what? And he's like, say something else, you lose them anymore, right? And then and then she walks off. He's like, oh, why did I speak up for you? I don't even know you. And she goes back to work. And he's like, hey, if you want, you can have my rations today. It's all good. And then she's like, wow, are you asking me out to dinner? And he's like, yeah.
Oh, God, this is just this weird ant love scene.
Right?
Yeah.
So the next day, they show Z walking through the carnage of war.
Oh, my God.
It looks like Saving Private Ryan, just, the dust, and he's walking through the death, that shit.
Yeah.
And he sees just death everywhere, and then he hears, kid, and he looks over here, and it's Barbados.
Yeah.
And he runs up to him, and he grabs him, and it's just his head.
Oh, my God.
It's really funny. It's supposed to be seen, but it looks really funny.
Oh, my God. Barbados got J-Lo'd?
He got J-Lo.
Ah, fuck.
No, Danny Glover.
Someone would
I know,
get
yeah,
J-Lo.
you knew someone was going to connect.
And then at least it wasn't J-Lo this
So
time.
he's holding his head,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, be honest, kid. Am I hurt bad? And he's like, no, you look terrific. I'm a goner. I knew it. He's like, hold me up, Z. And so he just tilts his head a little bit.
Yeah.
And he goes, I can't feel my legs. And he goes, don't worry, Barbados, I'm going to try and find your body, I promise. And he goes, don't make my mistake, kid. Don't follow orders your whole life. Think for yourself. And he dies. And he said, Barbados! So it cuts back to Cutter and the general, right? And they're making plans in the office. They're making plans on what they're about to do and their whole, what their plans are, right?
Yeah.
So right then someone busts in and they go, sir, the termite battle, it's over. The enemy was destroyed, but it was a disaster for our troops as well. And then the general's like, sorry to hear, but he kind of says it with a smile on his face, I knew that, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But then he goes, but there is good news. One made it back. And then it shows Cutter, and Cutter says out loud, you're kidding. And then the general goes, damn. And then everybody looks at him, he goes, good, damn good. I'd like to speak to him before, the guy goes, the queen wants to meet him. He's like, I'd like to speak to him before that happens. So he goes out to him, and he goes, congrats, soldier. And it's Z, and he's kind of shaking up. And he goes, you're a little small for a war hero, aren't you? And he goes, sir, I don't think I'm a hero. And he goes, good. I don't like heroes. And he grabs him like that, and he goes, he brings him out to the crowd, and everybody's just like, They start screaming, and he goes, but sir, it was a massacre up there. And he goes, that's good, soldier. Now wave to the crowd, right? And so Z's kind of just waving in horror.
Everyone goes insane.
Yeah, people are going crazy. Yeah, they're going nuts. And then it cuts down to Weaver, and Weaver's in the crowd, and he's bawling, crying. And he's like, oh, I shouldn't have let him go. Why did I let him go? And then she's like, oh, J-Lo's like, oh, you couldn't have known it was going to be that they were going to war, Weaver. How would you have known that? And he's like, oh, it's my fault. The little guy, he shouldn't have been there. And then she looks up and she goes, oh, that's no soldier. It's Z. And he's like, oh, the little guy made it. Right?
I was
he's
very
cheering.
Rudy.
Yeah, and he's cheering
so
for him.
little.
He's so little. And so they take Z to meet the queen, right?
Right.
And the general tells him, hey, shut up. Let me do all the talking. All right. And then right when he says that, he goes, my queen. And then it cuts to Z, and he looks at Princess Bala, and he goes, grrr. And she kind of just looks at him like, what the fuck was that? Right?
Hey, Woody Allen ain't never gonna stop being Woody Allen.
Ever, baby.
Yeah, I love it.
So,
even when he's an insect.
Then so right then the general he cuts off the general and starts doing a bunch of talking. He's like, so actually, what happened in the war? And he starts it was really scary out there for me, and I had to be really tough. And he's just saying all this shit to try and impress her. Yeah. And you can see the general behind him getting pissed, right? And then right then Princess Bala recognizes him. And she goes, haven't I seen you before? And he goes, youch. And she goes, you were just a worker the other night. And now you're she's like, you're a war hero. And then everybody goes, what? He's a worker. She goes, yeah, I danced with this guy at the bar the other night. And then everybody goes, oh, you danced with the queen? He can't dance with the queen. He goes, you danced with my fiance? And he goes, whoa, you didn't say anything about a fiance. I was just, whoa, he's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then the queen's like, whoa, were you at a bar dancing with a worker? And then everybody's kind of looking at Z and he's like, whoa, everybody. And then right then the general goes, arrest that man. And then right when he says arrest him, he grabs the princess like to hide behind her, like, whoa, don't arrest me. I'm just a regular guy. And then the queen goes, he's trying to kidnap the princess. And he goes, kidnap the princess? I'm not a kidnapper. What are you guys talking about? And then everybody's like, arrest him. And then right then he goes, yes, I am trying to kidnap the princess. Come with me, princess. And then everybody's looking at him. And right then he falls backwards and they fall back into the trash chute. And then they fall out of the whole ant colony.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So he kidnaps the princess.
He kidnaps the princess.
That's fucking dope.
Total movie. I know. Complete.
Whoa. Whoa, what's going on here now?
So they land outside, and of course, soldiers are running down to save her, like a bunch of soldiers, right?
Right.
And then she punches Z really easy, to get away from him.
Yeah.
And she's like, they're going to kill you now, just so you know. She's like, he's here, right here, everybody. Guys, he's down here. And then they see, they're like running, and then they stop and they look up, and then she's like, what are you guys looking at? And then she looks up, and you see a big magnifying glass coming over top of them. Right? Real slow. And they all looking at it like in bewilderment, like, what the fuck
it's just
is
some
that?
kid.
And then the soldiers stop and stare, and then one of them walks up and he's like, what is it? And then another one goes, it's beautiful. And then, of course, right then,
catch on fire.
Just flame, and it just blows them up immediately, right?
You ever do that to ants?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, why is it that everyone's fucked up to ants?
yeah, it's funny.
I guess.
So you hear one guy go, get out of there! And then, of course, the guy with the magnifying glass starts killing all the other ants, right? And then he starts trying to get Z and the princess, and they run, and then they like jump off a cliff, and then they hide behind some grass.
Right.
Like under some grass, right? And he doesn't see him. So right then, she starts to panic, and she tells Z, Dad, you can't believe you got me in this mess. You need to climb up a tree and tell me where we are. And then he tries to climb up this little tree, and he can't do it. Yeah. And then she's like, I've been kidnapped by the village fucking idiot. She's just so pissed. And then she goes, how did you make it out of that war alive? Did you talk those termites to death? What are you useful for? And then she goes, why are you stalking me? And she goes, why are you stalking me also? Don't you realize I'm even out of your league? I'm a princess. And he goes, hey, you were the one that came to the bar talking to me, looking for action. That was you. He says that to her.
Yeah. Stop being such a fucking terrible person.
Yeah, and then she goes, well, I chose you because you are the most pathetic bug in the whole joint.
Oh, good God. Fuck you.
And then he goes, oh, I'm pathetic. And he starts talking to her. He's like, you're the one marrying a psycho lunatic general husband.
Yeah, get him, Woody.
Who's a stiff and piece of like a boring guy. You like, that's what you want to marry?
Get him.
And then and then she goes, she's like, oh, it must be so much fun to be with someone engaged to someone like that. And she goes, well, just so you know, the general and I are deeply, deeply engaged. So he climbs up another tree as she's yelling at him, right?
Right.
And then he sees the monolith in the distance.
Which is
It looks like a big ass water fountain.
Okay.
That's what it looks like, all right?
Okay.
And then but you can't really tell. And he's like, I'm not taking you back, right? And he climbs down. And he's like, I'm going to Insectopia. And then she talks shit and she's like, I order you to stop, worker. You got to take me back now. He goes, first off, I'm Z. And you can't order me around out here, okay? And then she's like, fine, well, I don't need you. And then they split and she tries to walk back on her own. And then she goes like 5 feet and she sees like a big, monstrous, scary looking bug. And she's like, see! And then she runs back and it fades out. Like runs back to him.
Yeah.
So it cuts back to the queen and she's yelling at the general, saying she doubt he can handle it and blah, blah, blah. Because he's saying how he's going to get her back. And she's like, you better get my daughter back. And he goes, don't worry, queen. I will bring her back, right? So they show... Like, this is a weird shot because it cuts down, like it says that, and then it cuts like down to where the workers are.
Yeah.
And the workers are, it goes like to workers, and they're all spreading rumors. Like they're all talking like one-to-one. It's like a rumor scene.
Like, like that game telephone?
Yeah. And so guys, and it's about Z. It's like, I heard Z said he wasn't going to be a worker anymore. I heard that Z guy broke out. And then it gets to the point where it's like, I heard Z I heard they all cornered him, and then he used his powers to burst them all into flames. You know what I mean? Like all this crazy shit, like how he escaped, right?
Right.
And when he says that, Weaver goes, what? No, that's just my buddy Z, And then he's like, he's just a worker of mine. And then they all go, yeah, but he's not here anymore. And then Z's like, yeah, he chose to be that. He wanted to go be a soldier. He's like, I chose to be a worker for a day. And they're like, what, you can choose? And then the J-Lo's like, yeah, Z chose to be what he wanted to be. Maybe we should choose. And then you see everybody start room. Z chose to be what he wanted to be. He chose to be what he wanted to be. You know what I mean?
Destruction of social order.
And so
Just because of Woody Allen.
everyone starts going, well, if Z doesn't dig, I don't dig. Well, I'm not digging. And then this guy's like, and then everybody's like, Z is leading a revolution. And you hear everybody start chanting, we're not working. Right? So you hear, it cuts back to Z and the princess, and she goes, come on, Z. I mean, who's ever heard of 2 ants? 2 million ants, maybe, but just 2 ants on their own? This is crazy, you know? And then he's like, well, you can go back. Just take yourself back. And she's like, oh, take myself back? You kidnapped me. And you want me to you're just going to abandon me? That's not a good kidnapper. And then
It's a great kidnapper.
Right? And
he got away.
He goes, well, I ain't going back to the colony. And then he says, he's like, you would want to go back. You never worked a day in your life. You don't even know what labor is. And she's like, I don't know what labor is. She's like, imagine if you were expected to give birth every second for the rest of your life. And he goes, oh, yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
So they're arguing over this, like they're arguing, right? And they're at the monolith finally thing. And water, they don't see it, but drips off of it. And it lands on him and it traps Z in the water.
Oh, shit.
So now he's stuck in this water, right? Mm-hmm. And so she runs and she tries to pop it and get him out if she can't. So she tries to push it like over this little like cliff so it would pop and break. But she gets sucked into it too. And so now they're both kind of drowning in it, and then it starts to finally roll, and then it lands and pops. And then he's like, oh my God, thank you. And then she's like, don't mention it. And she's like, come on, Z, take me back now. And then it cuts to behind, like she says that, like wiping her eyes, and he's already like made a little boat leaf to like sail across this lake.
Right.
And she's like, oh, Z. And he's like, what? Are you gonna go back and be Mrs. Raving Lunatic? And she's like, oh, Z. And he's like, look, give me one chance. If we don't find Insectopia, I promise to take you back. And she's like, okay. And they get on and they sail across the water. Back at the colony, no one's working. You know?
Hell yeah.
Everyone's
Revolution time.
Revolution. So it's millions and millions of ants
time.
screaming at the general, we want Z. We want Z. We want Z. And it cuts back to Cutter, right? And Cutter comes back and he tells him how, it's like, that Z, he's slippery. We couldn't find him, you know? And then he says, we lost his trail at the lake. And then it cuts back to the ants and they're all now like singing in harmony, like about revolution, like peace. And then he goes, Cutter. And because he notices Sylvester Stallone and the J-Lo ant holding hands, he's like, what's that soldier ant doing down there? And he's like, I don't know, sir. And he's like, I don't like what's happening, Cutter. This isn't good. And he's like, can I depend on you to find the queen? And he's like, yes, sir. He's like, well, let's wrap this up. And then he goes out to speak to the crowd, right? And the general goes, everyone, I met this so-called Z, but where is he now? If he cares about us so much, why isn't he here? Well, let me tell you why. He doesn't give a damn about you. You know, he kidnapped our princess. He ran away. We're the ones here. We're the ones ensuring our future.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't care about these people.
That's right. And he goes, let me tell you something else. If you guys finish this tunnel, there'll be more food and less work for everyone. Everyone cheers, right? He goes, and also, each of you will have the day off for the upcoming opening tunnel ceremonies. Everybody cheers, right?
Right.
Mandible.
That's his name?
Mandible. Yeah, General Mandible.
It's so easy to sway a crowd.
Yo, and then Cutter looks
really
at him and he's like all impressed, right?
Yeah.
And then he looks back at Cutter and he points at Sylvester Stallone and he goes, bring me that soldier.
Oh, God.
Right?
Stallone.
So
Stallone.
The next morning, Princess wakes up before Z and she goes on a little walk, right? And then she sees a thermos. And she goes, oh, Z, oh my God, Z, come here. And they run up and they come up on a picnic, right? And then she goes, Insectopia, it's real. And they see all this food and just all this shit, right? And then they come up to this sandwich and she says, okay, I admit it, you're a genius. And he goes, let's eat. And he goes for a bite and he goes, boom, boom, boom. And it's a wrapper. But he's like, what the, boom, boom. And he's like, there's some kind of force field. And they keep trying to eat the sandwich, but it's wrapped in plastic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're like, what the hell is going on? I don't know what this is. And then right then they see some wasps flying above them and they ask for help. And the wasps are like these uppity rich types. Right? And they come down.
Socialites.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, that's some kind of crawly insects there. And then they go, and then the wife goes, oh, the poor dears. And then they go, and then the princess goes, hi, you don't recognize me, but I'm Princess Bala. And then the guy goes, oh, Eurotrash. And then the wife goes, stay right there and we'll help you. And then the husband goes, oh. And then he goes, Chippy, we have an obligation to the less fortunate. And you know how important this is to me to help people. And then he goes, ugh, I can't stay mad at you muffins. And then they start kissing, right? And then right then, you see Z and the princess looking up and they're grossed out. And they're like,
fuck?
Ugh. And then he goes, man, I imagine Insectopia to be a little different. And then right as they walk away, a fly salt water drops. Wow! And it hits them. But it misses them. And then it raises back up. And then it killed the wasp's wife. And he's like, oh no, Muffin!
Fucking Jesus Christ. What?
And then right then a shoe tries to step on him, right? Z dives out the way, but it gets the princess, and now she's stuck to gum on the bottom of this guy's shoe.
Okay, but she's not dead.
Not dead. And she's like, Z! And so he runs up the shoe, right? The other shoestring. Right. And now, so he gets to the top of the shoe, and he's on like this one shoe. And so you see in slow motion, it looks like slow motion, but it's obviously just for them because they're so small.
Yeah.
But you see this foot coming across and like you see her on the bottom of the gum, like right here. And you hear her going, ah! Ah! Like it's a funny shot. So she's screaming and then he's like, so he like hero music starts playing and he gets brave and he jumps across to the other shoestring.
Also,
and he catches onto it.
What kind of crazy ass person do you have to be to try to fly swat a wasp?
A psycho.
Right? You have to be you must not feel pain. You know what I mean? You must be a serial killer or something.
You're really into your picnic.
Yeah, or you're like really confident in yourself to get
fly swatting abilities.
Yeah, in your first try.
Yeah.
To be like,
there's two of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this fucking wasp.
Plural.
Yeah, these wasps. That's why they're rich socialites. They're wasps.
Wasps. Yeah.
I get it now.
I didn't want to bring it up, but I was like, oh, he called that.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie, I was like, oh, he called that.
I didn't. Now I get
That's
why
also,
they have the
this
wasp
is a Woody Allen movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're all socialites. But play in Lisbon.
So, let's see. Okay, so Z, he jumps off to the other shoestring and he catches it, right? But when like hero music's playing and he's like, dun, 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 dun. But when he catches it, the shoestring slams onto the bottom of the shoe and now he's stuck in the gum with her. And then she looks at him like disappointed. He's like, hi.
Yeah.
Like, right?
At least I'm here with you.
Yeah. And then right then they see the shoe raise up to the sky and they don't know what's happening. And then they see a huge Abraham Lincoln's face on a penny. And then he's like, who the hell is that? And then it scrapes them off. And then you see a guy like now in like fast motion, like a regular human being, and he flicks a penny like really like into a trash can.
Right.
Right? The scene ends. So next scene you see Weaver and he's beat to shit. And he's like, I ain't saying nothing. Right?
Yeah, but also he doesn't know shit. Except that they switched.
Well, they need he knows more than anybody else.
That's true, but he doesn't know where he's going.
Yeah. So
Insectopia.
Mm-hmm.
He knows
the general keeps talking shit, right? And he tells him how no individual ant matters. And right then they bring in the J-Lo ant. Mm-hmm. And they go, where is Z?
Oh no, is J-Lo about to get J-Lo?
And then she goes, don't tell him nothing, Weaver. And then the general goes, that's too bad. And then they start hurting her. Like you don't see it. They show his face and you just hear her screaming.
Yeah.
Very serious movie.
Yeah, it's like these like really intense moments in this.
Yeah, and then he goes, all right. He went to Insectopia. That's where he went. And then Cutter says, you think we're playing with you, soldier? Tell us where he really is. And then the Weaver, the general soldier goes, that is real. It's a real place, Cutter. And then he goes, what? Insectopia. I know where it is. That's what the general says, right? And then he tells him, he's like, find him. And then when you do, General, kill him. And then the Weaver guy's like, no, you know. And then they tell Weaver to go back to the tunnels and they put him in the front line, you know. So
Jesus, he got fucked up.
Yep. It cuts back to Z and he's apologizing to the princess and he's getting her like off the gum and he's apologizing to her. He's like, I'm taking you back to the colony. I should have never taken you this far. Blah, blah, blah. I'm so stupid. I should have never did this. And as he's screaming about all this, she's like looking like, and then he's like, keeps like, I can't believe I did this. I'm taking you back right now. I promise. And then she grabs his head and like turns it. And then it's just the Insectopia.
It's a trash can.
It's a trash can.
It's great.
Yeah. So he's looking and he's like, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And then she goes, it's insect. And then he cuts her off and he goes, don't jinx it. And then right then a montage starts and it goes, it's going to be a bright, sunshiny day. And a montage starts of them basically at an amusement park for bugs.
Oh, I love that.
Like they're making snow angels and powdered donuts. They're riding a worm roller coaster through an apple. They're drinking soda. You know what I mean? Like they're doing all kinds of cool shit.
I didn't expect a montage, so color me surprised.
Yeah. So they like, what is it? Oh, the general. The next scene, the general, he keeps going over all the plans for the mega tunnel ceremony.
Right.
Okay. And he says he'll need he talks to Cutter. He says he'll need the princess. That's all they need now. They're almost ready.
Okay.
Right? And then it shows Cutter and he leaves. And then it shows Cutter and he's hot on their tail. He's following, he's going to Insectopia, right? So it cuts back to Insectopia and it shows these bugs, these three like kind of like stoner kind of bugs, right? And then the one goes, man, this stuff tastes like crap. And then the one guy goes, hey, it is crap. Not bad, right? And then the bugs like start complaining over who's got to go get the firewood. And then the one's like, I got it last time. He's like, you got it the time before, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, well, what about the new guy? And they look over at Z. And then Z is telling her the story of the war in the Barbados and the whole thing, right? And how it all went down. And then he goes, what made you come into that bar that night? And then she goes, I was looking for trouble. And then they start flirting and laughing. Mm-hmm. And then right when they're about to kiss, they go, hey, new guy. Can you go get us some firewood?
Fucking cock-blocking stoners.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't say no to that too. You have to be like, I guess.
And so right as he walks by them, he goes, hey, you guys ever wonder why they call you pests? And then he keeps walking.
So they like fleas?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he goes to get the firewood, which is just a match.
Yeah.
It's just a big
amazing.
match. It's just a big match.
Yeah.
Right? And then it cuts back to the circle and right then Cutter lands. Poof, right? And everybody looks up and he goes, sorry for interrupting. You see, our princess, she's gone missing. He goes, she's about yay tall, fairly easy on the eyes. Anyone seen her? And then, of course, right then, everybody points at the princess. Like, everyone in the circle points at her immediately.
Obviously.
And then she goes, listen, Cutter, I ain't going back. Princess, I have orders. And she goes, can't you think for yourself? And he goes, where's Z? And she goes, he's dead. Don't worry about him. And he goes, he was an ant with ideas. Too bad. And then, I'm sorry, it's just, I've been killing it so hard, I'm making myself laugh. Because that is how he said, too bad. And then he grabs her and he flies off, right?
We'll see.
And then she hears him and Z hears her screaming. And then he sees and he's like, oh no. And he starts talking to himself about like, he's like, I can't go save her. I'm just a regular ant. What am I going to do? I got to stay here. And then he goes, no, I got to go back for her. And then right then you hear, I'll give you a lift. And a drunk wasp lands. The wasp from earlier.
Oh.
But he's shit-faced.
Yeah, his wife died.
Yeah.
What's his name, by the way? Do you know who plays him?
Oh, Dan Aykroyd.
Really?
Oh, I forgot. Oh, Dan Aykroyd's the wasp.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you that. I meant to tell you that there was another big name. It was Dan Aykroyd.
Okay.
I knew it was one more. I forgot what it was. Okay. So yeah, Dan Aykroyd is this wasp.
All right.
Cass is crazy, bro.
Yeah, what the fuck?
He goes, it's all help. It's what my puddlywinks would have wanted. And then he goes, well, thank you so much, man. He goes, well, old boy, climb aboard. And then they drunkenly fly off, right? Like he can't, like he's just going all over, like hitting shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So right then they land, Cutter and the princess, and the general goes, princess, you're just in time. And then he goes, what's going on? And she goes, I demand an explanation. And she starts yelling at him. And she goes, I don't like how you think you run this show or you think you run this colony. And I don't like you, you know? And she goes, and things are going to start changing around here. And he says, oh, that's right. And then they all sit her down, right? And they lock her in this room. And she goes, my mother will have your head. And then he goes, I doubt that. And then he looks at her and he goes, we will rinse the gutter and we will start anew, princess. And then he goes, with you by my side as my queen. And she goes, you're crazy. And he goes, someday, princess, you'll thank me for this. And then he leaves.
Coup time.
Right?
Coup time.
So they see the anthill, right? The wasp, they see the ant and they land on it. And then he goes, they land, he drops them off. He goes, well then, go get the woman you love, old chap. And he's like, so long, Chip. And the wasp flies off. So Z walks in, right? And the soldiers look at him. They go, hey, all the workers are supposed to be at the opening tunnel ceremonies. And he goes, well, that's where I'm going. And he starts walking, right? And then, of course, every single soldier then goes, hey, where are you going? He goes, opening tunnel ceremonies. And then by the end of it, he's like he's just walking by everybody going, opening tunnel ceremonies, opening tunnel ceremonies. And he's just walking by everybody.
That's funny.
So Z he hears Bala yelling from a room when he finally gets in, like where the room she's captured her.
Right.
And he sneaks up to her where she is, right? And then right when he's about to open the window where she is, a chair bursts through it. I'm the princess, God damn it! And then he goes, wow, your manners haven't changed. And she goes, see, and they hug. You came back for me. And he goes, well, of course, you know. He goes, I mean, she goes, I mean, you're great. You know, I had to come back for you. I mean, you know, you can be a little combative at times, and you know, you're a little loud and you get a little angry. And then she goes, you talk too much. And then she kisses him, right?
Hey,
and then he
Woody,
goes,
hey,
right? And he goes, oh, I think I'm gonna be the strong, silent type. And so he goes, we have to leave. And then she goes, we can't. Mandible's talking crazy. I think he's gonna kill my mother. And then he goes, what? And then they start looking at the plans all over the place. And he goes, he's planning to kill everybody.
Oh God! Oh no!
So downstairs,
They gotta stop Mandible.
Yep, the general's giving a speech.
Right.
And he goes, a pure colony. A real colony reborn. He's saying things like that.
That's very Hitler shit.
Yeah, and he says how he's like, the past will be washed away. And everyone starts cheering, right?
Jesus.
And the queen is looking at him pissed, and she goes, my daughter still isn't found. And he goes, oh, don't worry, your highness. I'll find her. Goodbye. And he leaves. And he has that evil smirk, right?
Yeah.
And so as he walks out, he says, seal the doors.
Hey, people! If someone ends a conversation with you with a smirk, you should be like, "What are they doing? What are they up
Watch
to?"
there. Watch there. Just keep an eye out.
I don't trust you. That's how you should
watch
feel.
that motherfucker.
You shouldn't let people smirk at you and leave. Something's up. Something's definitely up.
Every time.
Always. It's never not been up.
It's never not been up.
Never has someone been like, I'm just smirking because I like smirking. No.
They're up to some shit.
Nobody smirks.
So he walks out and he says to Cutter, seal the doors. And the Cutter's like, sir, I've been thinking, should we do this?
Oh, he's about to kill Cutter.
He's like, look what these workers have done. I mean, they have the right stuff. He's like, I don't know. And he goes, Cutter, you're weak. He's like, are you with me or are you not? And he like looks at him like he's about to kill, you know? And he goes, sir, yes, sir. Seal it up then. And then they drop all the rocks and they seal up all the exits to the whole anthill, like the whole colony, right? So the queen is now giving a speech when Z and the princess run up on her. Well, not Z, I mean, when the princess like runs up on her. And she goes, Bala! And she goes, mother! And they hug. She goes, Mom, we're in danger. And she goes, what do you mean? And then they show that they cut back to the workers who are still digging. And it's like Weaver, and he's looking all sad. And then he's all beat to shit still. And then you hear Z go, wait, stop digging. And then he turns and goes, Z, you're back! And he hugs him. And he goes, everyone stop digging. And then the boss guy goes, on whose authority? And he goes, on your own. And it cuts back to the princess. And well, because of Z and the princess, and they're both telling everybody what's going on, right? Like a cut back and forth with them telling everybody what's going on. And then Z's boss goes, well, we have orders. And he grabs the pickaxe and he slings it into the wall, right? And then right then, he goes, get back to work. And you hear like, and then the pickaxe busts through and like water starts busting through the little hole where the pickaxe was. You know what I mean? And then, of course, the tunnel breaks and all the water starts coming through. You know what I mean?
This boss guy's lame as shit. Jesus.
Yeah. And then right then it cuts to the queen and she's telling everyone how, she's like, everyone, we've been deceived, but I need everyone to be calm and everyone, and then right then you hear, run! All the exits are blocked! We're trapped! And then pure panic, just sitting in, and all the ants, and then the water's flooding in like crazy, and all the ants are trying to get to high ground, like stumbling over top of each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Ants are dying.
Not dying, but they're trying not to die.
Right.
So the water's coming in, and then Z goes, I got an idea. And he goes, Weaver, lift me up. And so Weaver lifts him up, and he goes, listen to me. Everybody, listen to me. And then everybody goes, who are you? And somebody goes, that's Z. And they're like, oh, Z, it's Z, it's Z. And he goes, we need to build a ladder. And he goes, we can do it together. We got to do it. And the water starts rising, right? And then Weaver tells everybody to climb to the top. Weaver's like, everybody, let's go. And so they all start forming this ladder. All the ants start climbing to the top, right? And then Bala says, she's like, hey, I got to help my mom. And they're like, okay. And so she starts helping the princess, the queen, get to the top. So up at the top, the general is talking to everybody else that he's kept, right?
Right.
And he's talking about how they're going to be a perfect colony, you know? And how everyone below them are weak. The weak elements are being washed away below us, right, as we speak. And then Weaver tells people so Weaver's at the bottom, right? And he's holding everybody up, and there's not enough ants at the top to reach. And he tells Z and the Aztec one, J-Lo, he's like, hey, climb up. I'll hold it by myself. And they're like, Weaver, you can't. He's like, go. And he pushes him, and he starts holding the whole thing. He's like, you know? And so they climb all the way to the top, right? And Z, he gets all the way to the top, and he starts fucking trying to like bust through the rocks and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then he starts trying to bust through all the rocks and stuff. And then you hear
it's high drama right now.
Yeah, you hear the general guy at the top, and he goes, "It's time for a new beginning." And then right then Z busts through, and he goes, "What the hell is that?" And then Cutter goes, "I think that's the weak element, sir." And then he goes, and Cutter's like smiling, and then he's like, and then you hear Cutter go, "This isn't good for the colony." And then, you hear the general say that, and then you hear Z, like, he's holding on to the top now. He's like, "We are the colony," right? And then Cutter goes, Cutter punches the shit out the general and knocks him out. And then he goes, "Cutter, what are you doing?" And he's holding his eye, and he goes, "Something I should have done a long time ago, sir."
Oh shit, he's a good guy.
He goes,
I didn't see that coming at all.
"This is for the good of the colony." And he helps Z up, right? And then right then he goes, "No!" And he runs, and the general tries to push Cutter down, and Z saves Cutter's life, and he pushes Z. And so him and Z go falling. And now they're both falling, right? And then you see, they're both falling, and then you see Z hit the water, and then the general hits land. Dies. Right?
Oh, Jesus. All the deaths in here are pretty nuts.
Pretty vicious, bro.
Yeah. Like, it's all this, like, lighthearted fun, and then every death is like, my God.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So Bala's like, "Z!" Of course, as he fell. And so Cutter tells all the soldiers to help. It's like, "Sir, guys, start help getting all these ants up." So they start lifting all the ants up, right? And they're lifting them all up, and they even got like all the way down to like Weaver, right? Yeah. So Cutter, he has wings, so he's one of those kind of ants. So he dives in and he saves Z. Like, he goes to save Z.
Right.
So they bring, everybody's finally back at the top, and they fly and they put Z down, and he's unconscious. And then she leans down and she's like, please wake up, please. And then she does mouth to mouth on him.
Nice.
And he starts coughing.
Yeah.
And then everyone cheers.
I thought he was going to do like the Sandlot thing where he just starts making out with her.
Everyone cheers, and then he goes, "Youch."
Good callback.
And then the J-Lo goes, Weaver, you still owe me that dinner. And then he looks at her and he goes, "Ugh." And then they make out. Yo, no bullshit. Again,
you don't know what he's saying?
I don't know what he says. I put it on the subtitles. I still didn't know. And if you can find out, or if you guys can find out, please tell us.
Yeah. Sylvester Stallone, remaining mysterious.
As you always do, buddy. Thank you for that.
Across genres.
Across genres.
Yeah.
So right then you hear Stallone go, "Yo, Z, you the ant," And then
the ant.
Yeah, and they lift him on his shoulders, right? And everybody has Z on their shoulders, and they're all chanting for him. And then he goes, "Well, they have it, it's just your average, boy meets girl, boy likes girl, boy changes underlying social order story. It's just pretty normal. What else can I tell you? We rebuilt the colony, with a large indoor swimming pool, and now Bala and I are thinking of starting a family. 2 or 3 million kids, nothing big. And I have a new therapist now, and I feel like I finally found a new place in life. Which is crazy because it's right back where I started, but this time I chose it. Antz."
That was fun. I don't think you needed the speech at the end, but that was fun.
That's how it ended.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
Right. Yeah. Who had this idea?
Jewish people.
I mean,
definitely Jewish people.
Well, yeah. If Woody Allen's involved, definitely. But
so much fun to tell that one to you.
Yeah.
All the voices were that was fun to do.
There's a lot of good voices.
A lot of great. That was fun.
Yeah.
Antz, man.
That was Antz. See you next week, I guess. I don't know how to react.